Hey, Gabriel Lake.
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
Where are we today?
Looking outside, you think it might be the apocalypse that we're podcasting from.
Yeah, I think that it basically looks like hell. I mean, right now it's a bit more like subdue hell, but I expect being heller today, tomorrow.
So we're at our respective apartments, and due to the California wildfires, the sky has been very dark orange all day, no sun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you can see like a dot on the sky that it may be the sun, or maybe, I don't know, like a UFO or something. At this point, everything is possible. But yeah, it has been, yesterday was yellow, today is orange, tomorrow I would expect it like just being pitch black as the last scene from the Turing Horse.
Wouldn't that be an incredibly powerful metaphorical end to everything? I just love the Turing Horse. So,
No,
such a good film.
no, you loved it less the last 3 minutes. And for you was enough payoff. And that's fair. That's completely fair. But I don't think that anyone really loves that movie, to be fair.
Aww.
Alright, so what did we watch this week?
We watched a film that has been voted the most important film of the 21st century.
Where?
Mulholland Drive by David Lynch.
Where was it voted?
It was a British poll of probably the most important films of the 21st century.
So it was like a public poll. Yeah, okay, you just already told me everything.
No. It was 130 critics in Britain voted on the most important film of the 21st century, and it was voted number one.
Was this like made in 2002?
I think the poll was in 2014.
Wow,
I would
okay.
have to check it out.
All right, no, that's fine. I'm just surprised, but yeah. So why did you pick this movie?
Was this my pick?
Yeah, it
It
was.
sure was. I can't for the life of me remember why. We both love this film.
Yeah.
We've both seen it multiple times before,
Oh,
right?
yes, we have.
And there's always a good reason to watch David Lynch. Always.
Yeah. Except Dune. There is no reason for watching that.
Which one?
Dune. D-U-I-N-E.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know how you feel about Dune. We get it.
I will hold it until later. But yeah, let me just try to summarize this story.
Please do. 2.5 hours of David Lynch's mind. Summarize it succinctly.
But I have to say that even like the first time that I watched this movie, I think that I didn't pay attention to the length of the movie, and I started watching like, I don't know, like 11. I was like, oh, it's going to be like a 90-minute movie. It's absolutely fine, like pretty digestible before going to bed. It's probably one of the most engaging movies that I ever watched. It's like it doesn't feel like 2 hours and a half, but not because it's easy to digest. It's because it's like your brain is always working about like, okay, how does this connect to everything else that I watch? The movie, it opens up with a jitterbug contest. And this is like pretty important because if you have like the DVD version, it has like notes and tips from the director to just understand what is going on.
David Lynch's 10 clues to understand this film.
Yep, just to you. He's just giving it to you. He's like just this magnanimous director that he wants you to understand his movies. Or maybe he deemed you too stupid to understand it without instructions, and he's just explaining it to you.
Or maybe he realized that he directed something that was a little too out there, and he's like, okay, I'm going to help people out.
Okay, it's obtuse, but at the same time, it's understandable. It's like the first time that I watched it, that there were like some points that was like, was this like really like this? And it's understandable. If I can connect the dots, it's like anyone can connect it. But there is like an opening scene that it doesn't feel like it's just having any kind of connection with everything else. And then what we see is Naomi Watts' character, Betsy, how she arrives to the first scene is actually a character like a brunette having an accident in Mulholland Drive, and then losing her memory, and then running into a house, and that house is the house that Naomi Watts is going to be living in as she moves to LA to pursue an acting career.
And it's the house of her aunt who happens to be shooting on location. So
in Canada, yep.
Hey niece, move in and try
Of
your
course.
best to become an
Yeah.
actress.
So basically, the first part of the movie is like the American dream, no, but the Los Angeles dream is the kind of the factory dream about like what studios would like people to think about. It's like, hey, you're going to be like moving to LA, you're going to be amazing at acting, you're not going to have any kind of problem of landing a really nice job. They're like really nice opportunities, but at the same time, there is a bit of a story behind of, I don't know, like a surreal, slightly surreal, paranoid kind of reality about like this director that he's played by the really handsome guy that I forgot his name.
Justin Theroux.
Justin Theroux.
How could you forget his running scene in The Forgotten Ones?
In the Forgotten Ones? No,
The-
I mean I only think about the leftovers. And
The
yeah,
Leftovers,
probably,
not the Forgotten
yeah.
Ones.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you told me a couple of times that he just runs commando. Yep.
Yep.
Yep, I didn't pay
Very
attention
important.
to that. Yeah, it's the key. It's the key of his career. But yeah, this Justin Theroux like just being like victim of how do you say, like a conspiracy from his studio for just selecting a specific actress, you know, instead of the one that is like really talented. It's like he's going to be like just picking a woman, but they are focusing on picking, you know, like this studio, like just shadow figures, like just speaking. So half of the movie is about like this like dream-like sequence, you know, about like she arrives, everything, Naomi Watts arrives to LA, everything is perfect. Laura Harring, that is the Rita character, she's like an amnesic woman that relies on her, and there's this mystery going on about like what happened with her memories, and they try to just pursue every single hint that they're doing. Everything starts like just turning a bit weird and a bit strange.
Meanwhile, they become lovers.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like an hour before the end of the movie is that the movie turns into something completely different, similar to what it happens on Lost Highway. Is that the characters, they just turn into something else. And here in this case, is like Naomi Watts. We are like seeing that she had that her name is Denise.
Which character? Sorry.
Naomi Watts in the post reveal.
Isn't it Camilla?
No, Camilla is Laura Harring. Is the lover, is the brunette. But she's like the name of the waitress. No, sorry, she's the name of the woman that is dead in the apartment.
Let's look it up. Yes. Oh, she's only credited as Betty. Oh, Diane Selwyn.
Diane Selwyn. So she actually becomes another person. It is like, if you, at that point, is that she actually reveals, and spoilers allure from this point on, but basically she is like a Midwestern girl that she won this contest that they saw as a random shot at the beginning. She won the contest, and with that money and some money that she inherited from her aunt, that she actually worked in the movies early on, she moves to LA with the idea of just making a career in cinema. But she is not that good. She actually meets up with Camila, that is the amnesic woman in the first part of the movie, and that woman, they're in love, they're lovers, and I don't think that they're ever in love, but she becomes like a bit more, not really a protege, but she tries to get her roles, like minor roles, on every single movie that she does. So it's a bit more like how she falls in love. She becomes like really bitter with everything, probably like a drug addict too. They never say it explicitly, but it's implicit there. And at the end, she ends up paying for a hit on her head to kill Camila, and she cannot live with the guilt out of that, and she ends up like killing herself.
Yep, that's about it.
Yep, it's just summarizing a lot and removing like plenty of scenes. That's it. It's basically the leitmotif of the movie. It's like how Hollywood studios tries to sell like this idea about like what a dream is to move to Hollywood and make it in the movies, and is that the reality of like you move here and probably you're going to be like making terrible mistakes and just killing yourself.
Yep, I don't know what to add to that. That's basically the movie.
So, did you like it?
So let me say, goddamn, this movie is so good. And
Yeah.
I didn't even read the New York Times review, so I'm.
You're just talking on
the.
Oh my God, are you just talking like blindly about the movie?
Yeah, I am. So I always felt So I've seen this movie, I don't know, I would say 5 times is probably a realistic estimate over the last 20 years. And it's always felt like work a little bit. It's always enjoyable, but it's always like, okay, let's follow the fucking clues and the 10 David Lynch clues and let's see what's going on. And this time it really resonated with me, and everything was so clear. Like I saw what I think the director intended, and even if it's not what he intended, it made sense to me, and that's what the movie is to me. So
yeah. What is it to you then?
When I say what it means to me, I just meant like I understand the story according to who I am as a person. And I agree with your synopsis. I think it's a fever dream about what could have been, and then ultimately she wakes up and she didn't get what she wants, and her former lover and best friend did, and ruins everything for everyone. But I found so many of the little touches, the pieces of comedy, the metaphors, like there's this horrifying scene that will be extremely well known to anyone who's seen the film, where there's just 2 guys talking in a not a cafe,
in a
diner, and he says, "Oh, I had this horrible dream. There was something behind the dumpster of this diner," and his friend's like, "Well, let's just go see it and show you that it's not there," and then they go. Sorry, what?
No. What I was going to say is like he's more involved than that. He's like, I love that scene. It's like that. If someone were to ask me like what is the most scariest scene in cinema, is that scene is still like just haunting me. It's like I remember like just almost by the line. It's like he says that he's like, look, there are like many things on that is like, oh, I see you that you are actually in the counter. You are not here. You're in the counter and you're afraid. So when I actually look at you, I feel even more terrified, because it actually just validates the fear that I have. And then he's like, okay, like the kind of thing that is like if you're friends with someone and someone tells you something like that, is that you may actually say like, okay, I don't believe you, but let's just do this. But when he's paying, is that the camera just stares at the guy like paying at the counter, and is that there is like a shadow of a doubt on his head, and the other guy that is that was narrating his dream, he's like just terrified at that point. Because that scene is like so masterfully directed that is one of the reasons why I think that David Lynch is a genius.
And it's one of the only scenes that make me sad this wasn't turned into a series instead of a movie. The rest I feel like is perfect. This was meant to be a movie, but that I was like, I think David Lynch had so many ideas about what to do with all of these characters that I wish I had watched them. But just like understanding that this is my personal interpretation, I could be wrong, but that man represented everything that Diane didn't want to be. I saw all the metaphors, like it all came clear to me, and it just made sense. And then the humor. So when Justin Theroux is getting his movie, essentially the casting taken away from him, and they have that mafia guy or studio exec drink the cappuccino, and he spits it out all graphically on the napkin. I was like, where does this is all just genius. Like every moment in the film is so much fun to watch, and then when it combines, it's just like this. For me, this is exactly what I like about movies. Like challenge me intellectually and have complex thoughts and ideas behind your work and have beautiful imagery, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, like every single time that I watch this movie, I always define it as a movie that if I were to the cinema to watch it, it would just be like the perfect value. Because it's not about like just watching it, it's like you're going to be like thinking about it, just discussing it with whoever you go to watch it. It's like I remember like just after watching it, I was just telling all my friends like, just fucking watch this movie. I need to talk with someone about it. It's amazing. But it's a bit more like just the kind of interpretation, the kind, as you say, is like all the small metaphors, how he actually plays on, how he actually plays with replacing things in both parts of the movie, But the thing, as you mentioned a moment ago, and we haven't mentioned yet earlier, that is that this was sold as a pilot. I mean, not a specific movie, but the idea was sold as a pilot to ABC. ABC actually just came from just producing Twin Peaks. And David Lynch approached them with like, look, I have this idea. It's like a girl like just going amnesic, and another one like just moving to LA to just making the movies. The girl that is amnesic has like $125,000 on her purse and a blue key, but we don't know exactly what is it for. And they ask us, oh, what is it for? It's like, for just knowing more, you have to buy this pilot.
And so they said, sure, make the pilot.
Exactly. And he made the pilot that I wish that we could find, because it's not with Naomi Watts, of course, because it was like years before that. And he spent like a year or a year and a half, like just, like fleshing out everything. But he had an idea about like how to pursue this. And the feeling that I have, and what I think that is that this is like a stroke of genius on his side, is that the feeling that I have is that he was going to be like just pursuing this world, this oniric is not a word in English, like this dream-like war about like, okay, everything, there is this conspiracy, there is like the short person from Twin Peaks is also going to be here, there's like many aspects of it that I feel underdeveloped on what is like the version, like before she wakes up, before they open the blue box, they're underdeveloped, but they're underdeveloped because he actually was expecting this to be a TV show. He could actually just take like 10 hours or 12 hours or 24 hours for just developing everything. And he said after he did Twin Peaks that he hated TV and he would never do TV again. But he also said when he was selling this pilot, that is at the same time, I understand that you can develop a world in a TV show, in a way that you can never do in a movie. That is going to be like way more rich. And for me, this is one of the wasted opportunities for TV, because this would have been incredible.
But what I don't understand is why didn't HBO or Showtime pick this up? That's what blows my mind. That's the real missed opportunity. ABC is like family friendly. There was never a future for this series on ABC.
Yeah, and even like when I was thinking about this, when I was checking this movie, like, oh yeah, I don't know, probably ABC wouldn't feel comfortable with Naomi Watts like just violently fingering this woman. It's like when they're like topless, both of them. It's like, I don't know if that's exactly what they were pursuing in the 2000s. Maybe it was, maybe they were a bit more edgy back then, but no, probably not. I don't know. I mean, I had a feeling that it's like there was a bit more of a tendency during the 2000s and the late 90s of just going to Europe, because Canal Plus is actually French.
Yep.
And they were trying to be like a bit more of an art house. And I think there is like this is the perfect art house movie.
But they approached him. He wanted to scrap the project. He had so many negative feelings from ABC, and they're like, no, please make this to a movie.
Yeah, because they actually just thrive on the idea of having artsy movies. And they have like I think this is not the only movie that they have with David Lynch.
Please tell me it's Inland Empire that they
funded. No,
it's such a French film.
No, I was thinking about Lost Highway, but
while you look that up, I want to talk about 2 points. One is that masturbation scene with Naomi Watts, and it's really gratuitous, but the idea for that scene was that she wouldn't cry. But Naomi Watts was so humiliated by the fact she was forced to do this that she was sobbing, and David Lynch kept her going, and that's the take they used, which has always stood out to me as a way that like acting and directing kind of merged together to create something so fantastic that I can't watch that scene without thinking, holy shit, I'm watching Naomi Watts humiliate herself for the sake of the art. And I don't know why that's been so profound to me, but I'm like, holy shit, this is so real, and it's something I feel like only David Lynch could pull from an actor.
Is that real? Because actually Naomi Watts also cries. I mean, the parallels that I find is when she's playing that scene, that audition with the old guy, with the old actor, is that she cries at the end, and I felt like, okay, she's basically just letting her emotions taking over.
But that was in the script. When she's practicing with Rita, she's like, oh, and then I'm supposed to sob and sob and sob and then kill him.
No. When she actually goes to the studio and she plays that scene again with the old guy, and she actually just holds her hand against her butt, at the end she actually cries too.
But that was in the script. Like, she was always supposed to cry in that moment. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I swear that I read that at some point.
Okay, all right. No,
And
I mean,
then the other thing I wanted to talk about was the interesting comparison that you brought up about how this is a little bit more subtle about switching characters like Lost Highway, where in Lost Highway it makes no sense. Halfway through the film, the actors just change. Whereas here, that kind of switch is more subtle and more powerful, and I just like to see him play with the same ideas and move them forward.
yeah. I mean, I think that is I love both movies, and I think that you actually gave me as a birthday present like many years ago, Lost Highway, and I love that movie too. But I think that Mulholland Drive is a more sophisticated Lost Highway. It's a bit more like just more well cooked. It's like I had the feeling that he actually what he did, and this is my speculation completely, but it's like, okay, I come from Lost Highway that it starts with this amazing thing about like the guy just calling in the passenger and said like Dear Logan is dead, and they actually just, well, I'm not going to be like just giving the spoiler, but it's like there is like a twist half through the movie, and then it turns into something else. Characters changes, Patricia Cates is a different character, whatever. But in this movie, I think that he conceived it from the beginning about like, well, this is the message that I was trying to do with the TV show. I'm going to be like just taking that 1 hour or an hour and a half pilot, and I'm going to be like just putting something on the end that is going to be like turning it into something else and just give it like a perfect message.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think so I really, really love Blue Velvet and Eraserhead. I love those films, and I would prefer to say that they're better, but I think Mulholland Drive is like the pinnacle of David. Don't look at me that way.
Holy shit, man. I mean, I think that we need to watch Blue Velvet again because it's a movie that I couldn't connect with. It was like way too bizarre for me.
I wonder if that is because you're not American yet.
I know, because it's like when I actually wrote the reviews, it's like, oh, this is like the perfect dark comedy, like commentary about like the suburban America. And I was like, really? I mean, it felt like a piece of garbage. Well, not a piece of garbage. It was still bizarre. But it's the thing that is like the problem with David Lynch cinema. I had the feeling on these movies that they are like just so obtuse that it's like if you get the message, they're amazing. They are like just so. It's like just looking at a Gothic cathedral that is like, wow, this is like really sophisticated. What you were trying to do, I get it, but it's just you did it in a very convoluted kind of way. But if you don't get it, it feels like, why were you doing this? That is how I felt about Eraserhead too. I didn't finish watching Eraserhead, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Well, okay, so I can see what you say. I can also think it's wrong. But no, I think this was absolutely his best film. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that at the same time, I mean, I could say that The Elephant Man is an amazing movie. It's really well directed, but it's like face value.
But I feel like, so Picasso, for instance, he could make like lifelike paintings, and nobody cared. Like what they cared was his abstract shit, and it's the same with David Lynch. Sure, you can make a technically assured, straightforward drama, and people will enjoy it, but that's not what he is meant for.
Well, what I would say, and that's the magic of David Lynch that not many other directors can say, is that he can actually excel at both. The Straight Story and The Elephant Man, they're amazing, easy to consume movies. I mean, easy. They are dramas, whatever, but it's like they are like just digestible. Now, these movies, like Blue Velvet or Lost Highway, Eraserhead, or Mulholland Drive, they are not easy to consume. It's like he's just making the cinema that he wants to make.
And as he should.
Well, sure. Should we watch Inland Empire?
No, that's a piece of shit. I'll fully admit that. But do you feel the drive to watch Elephant Man every 5 years?
I will watch it again.
You would, but do you watch it as often as you watch Mulholland Drive?
No, because I think that there are not so many movies that they are so well constructed as Mulholland Drive.
And that's why I say this is the sort of thing that he was meant to do. This is where he excels. Sure, he can make a
Sure. No,
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter. What do you mean, like like the Silence of the Lambs?
No, what's the name of Hannibal Lecter, the actor? Sorry, my mind.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, he's an Elephant Man.
Oh yeah, was that Nicholson too?
Interesting, you don't remember the casting.
I don't remember the casting
that must
because
not be nearly as memorable as maybe Mulholland Drive.
I don't know why I thought that it was Jack Nicholson instead of Anthony Hopkins.
Probably because it didn't make as much of an impact, which is interesting.
No, because I only watched The Elephant Man once. And I watched Mulholland Drive like 4 or 5 times because I also had the feeling that it's like just when I tell people that it's like, hey, you should watch this movie, let's watch it together. It actually, when they say like, holy shit, what did I watch? And I can actually say like, what you watch is blah, blah, blah. And I start explaining to him and just... Exactly. But to be completely fair, you actually lent me this movie on a DVD or Blu-ray, I don't remember, but and I actually was the first time that I saw like the 10 hints by David Lynch that I felt like, holy shit. The first time that I watched it is that there were like some details that I didn't get, but it's like when I finished the movie, I started like just watching it again about like, holy shit, I think that I missed something at the beginning. And it's like when you actually pay attention, you can see after the jitterbug, there is like a shot about like just going to a bed.
Yeah, I know. And I'm so pissed off about David Lynch's clues because I think I got so caught up in like, oh, I've got to pay attention to the red lamp. I got to pay attention. He said there's 2 clues before the credits. I got to find those. And if I had just like relaxed and watched the movie, I think I would have gotten what he wanted.
Yeah. I did get it like the first time, and it was more like, oh, okay, I get it. That is like it's a bit more like her dream about like what was going to happen, but it didn't, you know. But it's like when you was, well,
no, finish your thought. Sorry.
But it's like it's true that there are going to be like some details that they are lost, you know. Is that there are like some parts that I think that there is a bit more like for the artsy perspective, you know, when they go to the theater of silence. I think it's like I wish that thing existed in reality because I would be a sucker for that.
I would go see that show. Oh my god. Do you know the story behind that recording?
No, what was it?
So like years and years before Mulholland Drive, David Lynch was at a recording studio for some reason, and that singer was taken by somebody, her manager, a friend, and said, hey, I want you to come meet David Lynch. And he said, will you sing something for him? And she sang that song, and they secretly recorded it, and she didn't know. And then they used that song almost verbatim, like they used that recording in the film.
That's
so
amazing.
when they're talking about like this is recorded, like nothing's real. It's like, oh, your life is art, David Lynch.
yeah, it was actually recorded. That's amazing. That's fucking cool, actually. Yeah, but it's like even like that theater, like how the theater looks, you know, like very compact, but still like just having like a lot of chairs, you know, like very vertical kind of thing. It's like everything feels like just so dreamlike. So it's like I want to live on that wall. I want this to become a TV show. I want to just consume more of that reality. You know, it's like that was the only thing that I don't like about this movie. That is like this deserved more time on the screen. It's like it's an amazing art piece, but it's like I want more of that wall. You know, it's
for
like,
me, that was like the emotional zenith of the entire film. It's the part that I felt the most connected with, and I think that was the point. Like David Lynch wasn't focusing on the mystery, what's real, what's not real, what's happening, and it's just like, hey, let's live in this moment. And I just, God, I love that. Every time that scene comes on, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. I mean, there are like just so many scenes that they are amazing on the first part, and on the second part is that they're good, but it's like just more focused into okay, let's make a reality out of this. You know, let's just focus a bit more on the narrative, more than actually on the let's look cool. You know, let's just look bizarre. But it's at least like the first part. The funny thing is like with this movie, I watched it like many times. This was also my 5th time or the 4th time. And I could remember most of it. It's like when the scene was starting, I couldn't remember like some of the dialogue. But it's like I could know exactly what is like the motif of each one of the scenes. You know, when she actually goes to the party on the director on the reality side. and she actually just they stop, and she says that we don't stop here. This is not the place. And the brunette shows up. It's like I knew that is that they're going to be like walking up. Then I know that Coco shows up, and then I know that she's going to be like just making out with another woman. That is that this is just basically I see being mean to her. Is that all of that is like all the steps on the story they were clear, and it's like it's a reality. It's a bit more of a how do you say like an example or a sign about like how well constructed this movie is.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely. I remembered most of the film. This viewing, I was shocked that I had forgotten that Naomi Watts, spoiler alert, kills herself in the final moments of the film. In my mind, she died of a drug overdose in her bed. I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember that. Did I miss? I mean, that's the funny thing. There is that when they see the body, it's Rita that is
right,
in the
it
life.
was
Is
Rita.
Camila is the one that actually just no. It's the one that it just reacts like like just going crazy more than actually her. The one that actually just reacting I'm going crazy is Naomi Watts when they go to the theater of silence or the silence theater. You know, when they're like just having those blips of light, it's like I'm starting to remember what is going on. But at the same time, it's like all this dream is happening exactly when she's killing herself, when she's like just driven completely crazy by the guilt. That's the reason why they go to the apartment and they see that, and they see like the body of her in there.
So one thing that this viewing wasn't pretty clear to me, that senior couple at the very end that kind of break into her apartment and then they run out of the bag that the homeless man is playing with.
Yeah.
Do you have a theory about who that was? I have my own theory, but it's not like I don't feel confident about it.
I think that is the organizer couple of the Jitterbug concert.
So that's one of my theories, and then the other theory was that maybe it's her parents or something. But
no, I think that is that from the perspective that is like it's a bit more. I think that both of them, in both of the stories, they have like a starting point. That the starting point is like she wants something on her Midwest city, a small city, and she thought it's like, hey, I can actually be popular. I can make it in the movies. And I think that that couple on the reality, they represent like the ones that they give the award prize, whatever, you know, and they made them think that you can make it.
oh my god! So at the end, when she's at the fancy dinner party, what I think is real life, where her friend, former lover, has made it and is getting with the director, and she's invited as kind of a consolation prize.
Yeah.
And she's explaining to Justin Theroux, the director in the film, to his mother, how she ended up in LA. It was one of the most pathetic, heartbreaking things that I was just like heartbroken for this person who you could see visibly was broken with the dark circles under her eyes. And oh God, this is a fucking good movie.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is like at the beginning of the movie, I was thinking like, I don't know about the cast. I don't know if the cast was like completely right. I couldn't remember like how good the acting was, how it progressed. Because like, is Naomi Watts like really good? Like the holy shit when Naomi Watts actually when they do the shift. Oh, Naomi Watts like just gets like completely devastated. Like this woman, like just driven by guilt and remorse about like what didn't happen. It's incredible. Is that her acting is amazing.
Yeah, I felt so stupid the first time that I watched it that the very cliched happy dialogue when she gets off the plane when she lands in Hollywood. I'm like, how did I know this was a dream from this scene only? And then you see this like broken woman, and again, sorry not to go back to her masturbating, but to watch her face when she's doing that. I remembered her face from the American version of Funny Games and how you just watch this woman be completely destroyed for 2 hours by Michael Haneke, because that's what he does. I thought this actress, and I don't know if you know this, but she was evicted from her apartment and was ready to quit Hollywood. Between when she filmed this and when the movie came out, and she's like, I'm done, I'm not acting anymore. but she was close friends with Nicole Kidman, who said, just stay in Hollywood until this film comes out. And she stayed.
Wait a second. Like, she actually made a movie with David Lynch, and she says like, I think that I'm out. I think that this is never going to be a success, or it's not going to be like just bringing me anything.
But she was 32 at this point. She was like pretty sure it wasn't going to happen for her. And that's actually the reason ABC rejected the pilot, is because the actresses, Naomi Watts and I can't remember, Rita, they said they're too old to be movie stars. And so she was like, fuck this. Or sorry, TV stars, not movie stars.
So, sorry, are you telling me that Naomi Watts was in the pilot?
That's what I read on IMDb. Take it for what it's worth.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I felt like that's pretty weird about that, because Naomi Watts, maybe... I mean, it's true that 21 Grams is set in 2003, that is just after this. But no, she has like some roles for 2001. The Shaft... no, not too much. Okay. No, that's fair, but the thing is, like, if you do like a movie in 2001 with David Lynch, it's going to put your name out there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got their careers launched by Dune, so it makes sense that she would just be like, let's wait until this movie comes out.
No, who made his career made by Dune?
Nobody did. That's my point. I'm saying a David Lynch film isn't a promise of like launching to stardom.
Oh.
So wait, so let me read. This is what it says on IMDb. It says, Naomi Watts actually lost her health insurance and faced eviction from her apartment shortly after filming Wrapped. She was ready to quit acting and leave LA, but her close friend, Nicole Kidman, talked her into staying until after this film was released.
Okay. I'm surprised, and that even gives one more layer to the story that is displayed more.
She was living the life of her character? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how David Lynch pulled this together, but it's just perfect.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Honestly, it's like when I was watching, it's like, yeah, she's not that such a good actress. No one is like such a good actress or trying here. And it's like when she actually makes the shift, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is really, really good.
Yeah, not to go back to individual scenes without any sort of coherency in our discussion, but the scene where Billy Ray Cyrus is in bed with the wife of the director, before everything goes to shit and there's some lighthearted comedy, I was like, how does he come up with these scenes? Like, they're so funny and so dark, and they lead to things, I don't know. I'm just so impressed after this.
Who was the hunk that was in bed?
Billy Ray Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's father, and in the early 90s he had a hit called Achy Breaky Heart, but he was always kind of a joke. That's why he has a mullet in the film, because he was very successful in like 90, 92 and never really progressed from that.
Okay, no, that's fair. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, is like, would you have watched a TV show about this?
Not on ABC, nope.
Is that you wouldn't have like any kind of faith of ABC, like just trying to pull this out?
You and I have spoken about this off the podcast, but the second I feel like some TV show or film is restricted by censorship, I lose interest. So if David Lynch is like, if ABC was like, hey, David Lynch, we'll put this on our primetime Thursday night lineup, but you can't ever say any swear words, I'm not interested.
But come on, I mean, Twin Peaks was really good.
Yeah, it was, but I also lost interest in that series halfway through the second season.
Yeah, I mean, half through the second season, it started just becoming like weaker and weaker. I mean, it felt a bit more like, okay, we have to pull fillers, but I think that the first season was directed by him.
Yep, it was, not the second season.
And the second season, he actually delegated. He actually came back for the last 2 or 3 episodes, and he said like, let's go crazy. And the idea for Mulholland Drive, it was supposed to be a spin-off, as you were mentioning earlier, for Audrey's character from Twin Peaks, just moving into Hollywood to try to make it in the movies.
So maybe I would have watched it, maybe I wouldn't have, but don't you feel that since France was like, do whatever you want and finish this, and he directed this, we wouldn't have gotten any of what we got in the movie in the series.
So what I feel is like back in the day, in 2001, I don't know if this would have been like a successful format, but I think that David Lynch could succeed in making amazing TV if he just tried to do like limited TV shows, similar to what he did with the third season of Twin Peaks. He did it with the idea, it's like, this is 7 episodes, 8, I don't remember what was the number of them, but it's like, there's not going to be a continuation. This is going to be like such a bizarre experience that is just that experience. It's not about like, oh yeah, maybe, you know, if the ratings are good, maybe I'll come back. No, I don't give a crap. If he could actually have like 10 hours of Mulholland Drive, I would treasure that as it was my baby.
I would have watched it, but I just feel like once he was given full creative freedom, that's when he shined.
I mean, that's true, but it's like, I don't think that just having a TV show is actually just a justification or, you know, like a warning of you're not going to have any kind of creative freedom. But I think that I trust TV more than you do.
That's true, but also if you look at network television and what they're like, they can't say, well, can't they? They can't say asshole.
No. It really depends on what channel you are on. If you're on network television, maybe you cannot say asshole. But if you're on HBO, you can show an asshole.
Yeah, but that's cable. Network is ABC, sure. NBC, CBS. I mean, that they're really restricted in what they can say, what they can show. That's
true. But it's like when I talk about television, I don't talk about network television. Is that they own? Let me just think if I like, besides Twin Peaks.
That's why I said if HBO or Showtime had picked this up and he could show all of this, that would be great.
But that's the reason why the latest season of Twin Peaks was on Showtime.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I didn't see it, but I feel like he has more freedom there.
Probably, yeah.
It's like watching so I don't like Sex and the City, but watching Sex and the City on HBO versus when they syndicated it and put it on TBS, I mean, it was a piece of shit. They didn't show anything. It was awful.
I didn't know that they actually just completely censored it, but I never watched Sex and the City, so from my perspective, it's the same.
Well, you're lucky that you don't have a husband that likes Sex and the City.
That's true. So the thing I almost forgot to mention, did you realize about like how many times they are drinking or doing something with coffee?
No, to be honest.
So this is something that I didn't realize when I watched it, but someone highlighted it to me. That is that when they're on the drink part, they have coffee in front of them, but they don't drink it. They never drink it.
Interesting.
Even when the mafia guy just tries to drink it, he spits it out.
See, I love these little touches. It's reminding me of Fight Club and all of the Easter eggs that you can find endlessly in that. Like, this is my type of film.
Okay, no, that's completely fair. Yeah, it's a really like well thought, like well worked kind of a script. So just going into the regular questions that we ask is that, do you think that there is like something artistic about this movie?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of moments in the film that are extremely beautiful and extremely uncommon. Club Silencio is one that we might mention.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anything like that in other films.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking of the intro montage where you see the jitterbug contest and then the bed, in just a moment you see it. Yeah, there's a lot of artistic, a lot that's interesting artistically in this film, 100%.
Would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely, I would recommend it to anybody, including my mother. I would not watch it with her, but I would recommend it.
It's like, look, when Naomi West starts fingering someone, I'm going to be like leaving the room. It's like, it may look like I go to the restroom. No, it's that I don't want to see it.
I'm not coming back.
That's definitely things like, I don't think that I would recommend this movie to specific people. And to those people, I would tell them that it's like, holy shit, this is like one of the best movies ever made. But to the general public, I think that is that most people would need the 10 hints from the evidence.
I agree with you, but also I would recommend this film expecting that people
won't get it.
are willing to commit what it takes to get this film. And if they don't, that's fine, but that's not the fault of the film.
Okay. No, it's not the fault of the film, of course. It's the fault of the audience. We are like pretty dumb to understand some of this stuff.
But I would recommend this to a newish friend just to see if he's worth continuing to spend time with.
That's fair. That's a complete. It's like the kind of baseline, and if they tell us, "Oh yeah, I saw it, but I didn't get it. It was weird." It's like, okay, we're done. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks for trying. From my perspective, I think, as I told you, it's like I recommend it to specific people. From an artistic perspective, I think that is great. When we're talking about Charles Kaufman, and I'm thinking about ending things, he's missing this. He's missing this je ne sais quoi, but like he can make every single scene so engaging, so amazing, so I don't know. It's like I want more of this. When she goes to the audition in the studio, there is an impossible audition. It's like, so you're telling me that is like for a random audition, they're like just pulling you into this room with the main actor that they already have selected. All the team is like, that makes no sense. But it's like, I want more.
And I love when she moves into her aunt's apartment, and then the landlord of the place, she's like, "Oh, I just got these very important facts of this audition you're doing tomorrow." Oh, I'm like, how stupid was I in my early 20s? And on that note, how old were you when you first saw this film? Because I was
32.
24. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad for not getting it.
Wait a second, you were not 24. Is that what year were you on?
I was born in 84, and I saw this in 2005. Oh, so I was 21, 22, something like that.
In 2002?
I think I saw this in 2006 because I moved back from Russia at the end of 2005, and I saw it the year after. So
yeah, I watched it in 2002. Sure, I was actually just making the calculation yesterday. That it was 2002 for sure, because it was released in January or February in Spain of 2002. Albeit was released in the States in 2001, in late 2001, and I watched it like in the fall. So I was probably sadly 32.
Okay.
And I was fucking mind blown by it. If I am going to remember this movie, yes, holy shit, yes, most of it.
Yep, same. I mean, I could go 5 years, and there are a couple things I might forget, but overall, I'll remember the scene of the guy coming out from the dumpster. I'll remember Club Silencio. I'll remember so many of these scenes, like word for word, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm mind blown by it. I'm mind blown, like the part of the comedy. I mean, I think that the only like clear comedy that they have is like the guy when he goes like just talking with his friend, and he just starts like murdering everyone in the building. But I'm still like, even on that scene that is like, it's so random. It's like the kind of like random stuff that happens in a dream. It's still the kind of stuff that is like, I want more. I need more. Please, David Lynch, just give me more. What is this, like the story of the wall in phone numbers? I want more of that. What can that represent?
Yeah, there was a lot of opportunity with these kind of seeds he planted. And I know that I am very enamored with a film when either I want to start watching it from the beginning immediately, or I'm rewatching scenes over and over to like catch more. And I did that constantly during this viewing. I would rewind it and watch everything again.
No, that's completely fair. So should we score this?
So I need clarification. Can we do quarter points?
Sure. I did quarter points once, so you can do quarter points.
I have my score then.
Okay. I don't know who should score first, but my score is a 9.
Mine is a 9.75. This is 0.25 points below La Ventura, which we know is a perfect film.
No, that's completely fair. It's like the only reason why I don't score it higher is because it didn't become a TV show. It's because I actually see like these seats. No, wait a second.
Don't judge an artist's work because some buyer didn't buy it.
No. I'm scoring it from the perspective that those seeds that he planted, I had a feeling that there is a bit of bitterness to it. Like the bitterness of it's like, I'm not going to be removing this seed. If you actually check, I don't know if your version has it or not, but there is a deleted scene, what the policemen are talking about. The policemen that they are investigating the Mulholland Drive accident. They actually have
on Amazon, despite owning it. About
you have it.
I know.
Okay, there is a deleted scene that is like pretty clear another like bizarre scene that he didn't use, because at that point it will almost feel that he was like just intending to develop this area more. Like if you actually think about it, is that the only characters that repeat the scenes when they are on the dream phase is Naomi Watts and the amnesic girl. But everyone else is like, okay, we're just in one scene, except the director, because the director just comes back. But the policemen, they don't come back. Like the guy with the phone book, he comes back, and he's like a bit more of a core part. But everything feels like they never had like a development on the dream sequences. So he deleted a scene from that because it actually was more connecting towards the development of the story in a long term.
So wait, are you saying, from what I read today, and this could be wrong, that David Lynch had such negative feelings about the project that he wanted to abandon it completely, so much so that when Canal Plus approached him, he didn't want to do it. And eventually he did it. But do you think that he made some of the plot stories both vague and dark because he wanted to punish ABC?
No, I don't think that he wanted to punish ABC, but I think that he was reusing some of the parts that he wrote for the pilot. Is that look, the interesting part about this is because I think that this movie, if he could actually have like made this pilot work, I don't think that this would have been like a dream part and then reality part. I think they could be like just weirdness.
Yeah, that's true, because everybody says that the first half is a dream and the last half isn't. But if you look at the time, it's literally like the last 30 minutes that you really, like, she wakes up. The cowboy says it's time to wake up, baby girl, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I see. So you think it's a little bit cheap that's how he wrapped things up.
But it's still amazing, it's still amazing because it works on the message. That's the reason why this is a 9 for me. It's like, it still works. It's incredible that you can actually just like, okay, I don't want to be like completely detached from the baby that I created for TV, that it was going to be like this bizarre Los Angeles, Hollywood experience. Is that I don't want to be like completely detached from it. But I have like a smart read on it, that I'm going to be like turning it into the kind of ugly dream that actually just moving into LA for making it into the movies really is.
I totally hear what you're saying, but you get into like this weird gray territory where you judge art about what it might have been instead of what it is.
No, it's about like what art is to me. It's exactly what you were saying earlier. It's about like how I read it. And for me, how I read it is like, I wish that I had like more of the dream part developed over 20 hours.
So let me ask you this. If you just saw the film and you never knew the backstory about this was supposed to be a pilot, and then he finished it later with a foreign distributor.
Yeah.
What would you have rated it then? And this is so postmodern. It's so obnoxious because you shit on postmodernism so much.
You're a fucking millennial, man. I'm used to it. It's like, this is so meta. I don't care. It's like, I would actually say the same thing. It's like, I would say that it's like, I want more of the first part. The second part is like just greedy, just for the sake of being greedy. But the first part is like just the mystery that I love from the Twin Peaks, because I'm old and I watch Twin Peaks.
But that's what every David Lynch film is. Everything appears great at first, like in Blue Velvet. It's this bucolic American little town, and slowly it descends into madness and disgustingness. That's his.
Yeah, he's anyway, style.
I see your point. I do see your point. That's fine. I'm surprised, honestly, you didn't rate it higher. But no, it's not a judgment. I thought you liked it. Like, can you tell me something else you rated as a 9?
I mean, the thing is, like, I rated very few things as a 9. Let me just see.
And I debated all day.
Enemy.
Was I going to give this a 10?
Enemy. I rated Enemy with a 9.
Oh my God, man! You have to admit Mulholland Drive is better than Enemy.
I don't know, man. It's like Enemy was like so mind blowing, but it plays with the same things that you have to connect the dots, and when you actually just succeed on connecting the dots, it's fucking mind blowing.
It is. And Enemy is a fantastic film, but in my mind, this is better than Enemy.
The Favorite. I will have to rewatch The Favorite. I will have to rewatch it. Yeah.
Let's add The Favorite.
Yeah. Millennium Actress, I rated it a 9.5.
All right. So yeah, it's pretty in sync with the way you rate things, but I did think you would like this a little bit more.
I love this movie. Is that the only reason what I think is like because I think that there was a potential for more on it. And also because I don't, it's a movie that is not that accessible. It's a movie that is like, I love it. I think that it's artistically, it's amazing. But if I bring it up in a conversation, I feel like a bit pretentious about it. It's that you may not understand it, but it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
I mean, but in any case, it's like that shouldn't be affecting my reading of the movie. It's like
but we're
how
not
I feel about
we take
it.
all of these things into account, right, when we score it. So I get it. Overall, I just love that this challenged me, that I never stopped thinking about this film. We talk about it almost as much as Lars von Trier, who is your favorite filmmaker, and Michael Haneke.
No, don't lie. The movie that we talk most about is Funny Games.
Yeah, we should watch that soon.
Yeah, it's already on the list. But I think that is like the movie that we bond over, and it's like when we talk more is when we started talking about like Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive, and it's the reason why you lent it to me, because with my ex, I was just saying that it's like he never watched it, and I thought, like, look, you need to watch this. It's amazing, and you actually told me that, oh, I have it, and you lent it to me. So we started just talking more about David Lynch, about other directors. And I think that it's one of those things that is like, why David Lynch haven't made more cinema? Why he's like just focused on swords and bizarre stuff? It's a thing, I don't know, I think that it's like he may struggle internally into, I want to embrace just my pure creativity and just being consumable.
Did you listen to his electronic dance music album he released a couple years ago?
No, but I think that I told you like a long time ago that I remember like just checking some news about cinema, and there were like this snippet where he was like just recording some EDM album, and he was like in a bunker kind of stuff, and he was like, just coming out like completely topless. At that point we're talking about like just 55, 60-year-old like David Lynch. He just comes out like with ton of smoke like coming from the bunker. I say, yeah, I'm doing some EDM. And then a girl like completely topless comes out and starts like just dancing like crazy next to him, like woo! And he's like, holy shit! While like David Lynch is just completely serious looking at the camera. He's making his cinema as, I don't know, like EDM, but I don't know if that's going to be like consumable at all.
I won't say that his album was good. It was listenable. I liked a couple of the music videos. I wish he would do cinema instead, but at least he's having some sort of creative output. And apparently he's a prolific painter, but he's also not that good at painting.
Yeah.
So yes, I wish he would do more cinema. He basically came out a couple years ago and said he's done, which is really disappointing. But I can only appreciate what he's given us this far.
Except you, because that's a piece of garbage.
So I haven't seen Dune or The Straight Story. Is that what it's called?
The Straight Story, yeah.
Yeah, those are the two I haven't seen.
So as I told you, is that this was Dune was my first movie from David Lynch, and I watched it because I started like just reading the book, and it was like 95 or something like that, and I was like, oh, David Lynch is like pretty famous. I haven't watched anything by him, so I'm pretty sure that this movie is going to be good. I watched like half of it, and I was like, holy shit, this makes no sense. I don't know what I'm watching here, but it's not the book that I'm reading right now. And I actually just remained like pretty detached from his work until Mulholland Drive came out, and people were like just raving about it.
I honestly can't remember my first David Lynch film. It was either Eraserhead, or it was Blue Velvet, because I saw The Squid and the Whale, and I wanted to know what that scene was about with Isabella Rossellini. When the Jeff Bridges takes his son and his girlfriend to see Blue Velvet. I think that I might have started to watch him because of that, but I can't remember. It was either Eraserhead or Blue Velvet, and immediately I was like, this is someone that understands how dead I am inside.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say similar to Lars von Trier, and I may start seeing some pattern here. I like David Lynch overall, like regardless, Dune, that I still don't know exactly why he ended up like going there. But I think that like as Lars von Trier case, is that this is the kind of director that we need more in this world.
I completely agree, and I love how much inspiration he draws from Ingmar Bergman, and I think that's why I like him so much, is because I can see Ingmar Bergman's films in David Lynch's films.
No, okay. That's fair. So, anything else to say about Mulholland Drive?
Nope. Anybody that's listening, all 6 of you, you should watch this film. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not, or you understand what David Lynch intended. Like, this is a journey. Go and get out of it what you can, and it's just, among all the films we reviewed, La Ventura, Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, I mean, certainly since we started recording this, I think that this... I actually scored a 9 to Quien te cantará. This is significantly better than Quien te cantará. But yeah, this is probably the highest score film.
So,
from my side.
It's because you haven't given a 10 to anything. Because you didn't understand La Ventura, so...
Oh my god. Sorry that I'm not such an Antonioni film. Oh, wait a second. When we watched Blow Up, you were not such a fan either.
Let's rewatch Clueless next. No, so what are we watching next?
So for the next one, I was just debating into what to pick. And I was thinking about like just movies that they impacted me and they just made me think for a while. This is another movie that we talked about like multiple times. You were like just probably a teenager when it was released, but I want to watch Donnie Darko again, and we actually joke about it. But it's that the director didn't direct anything else that it was memorable after this, so it feels like one of these kind of one-hit wonders. There is almost the opposite of David Lynch, that he directed amazing stuff except 1.5 terrible movies with Inland Empire.
All right. So Donnie Darko came out in 2001. I was 17.
You were 17 when... Holy shit. when Mulholland Drive came out. Okay.
Which meant you... No. I was 17 when... Oh, yeah. And you were what?
21. Yeah. And I watched it when I was 22. Yeah.
All right,
wow.
Well.
All right.
Donnie Darko it is. You know how much I love to watch Jake Gyllenhaal do anything.
I'm looking to see exactly how this movie ages. I'm pretty curious about it.
I have my hopes up that it ages well.
Okay. Let's hope
Yes.
That's the case. Okay, man. This was great. I love this movie. This was probably like the first movie in a while that we both score over 9 or 9.
It's a good one.
Yeah. To whoever is listening out there, thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Well, listening next time.
Wash your hands.
Bye.